people may be listening to this like, yeah, well, I'm not really into the gratitude thing. How can I kind of incorporate it into my life? I can give you some things that I've done.
Hit me with it.
And really where it started was...
Did the boiler go out? It's a little cold now.
It is cold, right?
Yeah.
I thought about the most tragic times in my life and realizing that as bad as it was, I'm still here. I got through it.
Well, think about 2020 too.
Right? Yeah, the whole year.
Just the year.
The whole year
wild.
sucked. There's a lot going on.
It's a great year though too. At the same time.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm saying for the a lot of lives lost with COVID.
Yeah.
Regardless of your political side of things and what you believe and what you don't believe, there's been a lot of turmoil that's gone on in the United States this year.
Yeah.
And same thing, for me in my personal life, not just 2020. There's been ups and downs, but I look at the big tragedies in my life. Right, when I lost my grandfather. Wow, how did I physically get through that? Well, I'm still here today. I'm thankful for everything that I've had and the opportunity and the time spent with him. Mm-hmm. Mom's sobriety journey, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Seeing where she was at and to where she's at now. Thinking of the days when I used to caddy with my father. My dad didn't have enough money to support us, right? So he always hit it very well. The divorce of my parents, how my dad literally, he just told me this a couple years ago, used to cash bottles in to get money to put some gas in his car. Mm-hmm. That's how bad it was, right? So I'm grateful for all of those things that now I'm at where I'm at. Yeah. So if you look at the worst times in your life and you reflect on that, the only real thing to come from it now is an act of gratitude. So that's something that you can practice. You think about those tough times and you're like, wow, you know what? Yeah, those times really sucked and it was hard, but I'm here now.
I would challenge you. That's a great technique. I would challenge you to do that same technique, but with good times.
Oh yeah, well that's easy. I'm talking to somebody who
has difficulty with it.
Yes, who really can't do it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because if they're naturally a little more pessimistic,
yes,
then they grab
and that was me. I was not a big gratitude person. I didn't really know what it was. I really didn't. My dad only dad went to church every Sunday when we were growing up, and he would always just say it, preach it a little bit. So I know it kind of stuck. But that was one thing that I did, and then also I started. Sounds funky, and it sounds foo-foo for sure.
Fugazi.
No, well, not fugazi, but I started really asking for some guidance. Like just talking to, the higher power that I believe to be there, asking for guidance. Put something in my life that, I become, I can become more grateful.
So
and it works.
He put Claudio and Mike Brother.
I'm but seriously, even with the podcasting, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
And suddenly things just fall into place.
We know.
And I'm very grateful for this journey that we've been on, for sure. But I've tried it all now. Touch, right?
Touch, boys. Try. Grateful for you guys.
I've tried it all now. I've done the journaling thing.
Yeah.
Journaling is great for some people, for sure.
You don't like it?
And me personally, I get more out of it when I put it out loud versus writing it down for me. So now I have a specific time and a place that I have a gratitude prayer. Yes, first thing in the morning, I'm grateful for the day to wake up, beautiful wife, daughter, boom. But then I do get a little bit deeper on my ride to work, and you guys can both know the spot because it's hard to not realize where you're at when you cross the bridge, leaving the town. Right, Claudio's shaking his head, so I'm sure you. Yeah. If think about it,
I think I know what
you
you're
have
talking
water
about.
to your left, you got water to your right. It's on the bridge. You're
kind of water.
You're up in the air. For me, it was just something I remember when
It's a great bridge.
When we
nice
first
bridge.
came here, I was like, wow, that is the spot. So you pick a certain time and a place and do it every single day, put it into your routine. For me, going on 2 years now, and it's helped tremendously. Are miracles in your life going to happen? That's a separate conversation. But if you can control some things and just adding a little gratitude into your everyday routine, it's not a bad thing. And it's just something that I've done, and it's helped me tremendously.
It's nice to link. That's a good way to do it. Link a place to the practice, we'll call it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have any place. Maybe my living room that I'm currently not in. It's always nice in the morning to be. Yeah, the whole journaling thing, I get it. People love it. I get it. It doesn't make sense for me because, like, if I on my phone, I can do it on my phone, get some thoughts down.
Yep.
I think I'm in similar scenario where if I speak it, it makes it a little more.
You should hear, honestly, and this is the other thing. People, for me to hear this from somebody else, if this was a couple years ago, I'd be like, yeah, what do you sit there? You're on your knees, you're praying, Yeah, some people do that. I don't do that. I have my own relationship.
Well, it's
with
a version of a reflection too.
Oh, what?
It's a version of like reflection and meditation. Yeah, it's whatever you want to call it.
Yes, and something just constantly, we talk about, and I'm very acknowledging of the fact that I need to get better at thanking my current situation. I'm grateful exactly for where I'm at right now, because it could be much worse. Yes, I'm sure it could be better, but having that mindset for me is something that I'm working on moving forward.
I think having kids has benefited us greatly, because you can you reflect more on parents, you reflect more on your being, you growing up.
Yep.
There's a different perspective that comes, that where all this stuff kind of floods you all at once. So I think and we're early on in our journey, but I think the first year is pretty wild as far as like a change of thoughts, process. I know I appreciate my family way more now, having a child and like, visiting my brother and, losing my grandmother this year and grandparents and family. So it's all, once you have something or someone that's a greater power than you, or you want to contribute to, like, I remember when I got married to Dana, it was like, wasn't all about me anymore. Right. Because then you have someone you're providing for, you're teaming with. Then when the baby comes in, you're like, you're really third fiddle or whatever, fifth fiddle. You put a lot of things ahead of yourself, which just naturally make you more like, whatever. If I don't get my, my cheat meal that I want, as long as the baby's happy and, your wife's happy, it's good. So it all, I constantly, when I think about stuff when I was like spoiled growing up, I didn't have nearly as much adversity as you did. And now looking back, like, yeah, I appreciate everything I was given, but we were definitely spoiled. Like, I don't want to call a spade a spade. We weren't getting everything we ever needed, but I didn't really have any hardships. So now looking back, I'm like, wow, my parents sacrificed like a ton of stuff, so we were happy. Now you want to do that for your child. Mm-hmm. So you're just naturally, you grow into more of like a selfless person. Not saying that I'm the most selfless person on earth, but you just naturally gear that way once there's a kid. I mean, right? Do you feel like there's
100%.
And I don't feel like I'm making that much more of an effort. It's just naturally starting to go that way
because you're acknowledging it, though, right? And you're making a conscious decision now. It's not much more effort, but when you change your thoughts a little bit and you're doing things for a different purpose, that's exactly.
But every day you're faced with a decision where you weren't faced with prior. Like the baby, you come home from work and you're especially me because I only eat one meal a day, but you're starving, right?
Yep.
And the baby's crying and the baby's hungry, and you're like, you know what? Let's feed the baby, and then I'll eat when I eat. Mm-hmm. Think about you a year ago. No baby. Yep. You come home and like, you're just like,
all about Dave.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying just you, but me too.
Oh, 100%.
That's life, though. I think you get less I'm not saying people without kids aren't like progressing, but I think as you get older, one of the biggest thing is you get more selfless, right? You don't realize how much time to yourself, selfish you are prior to a lot of life wisdom, adversity that comes on.
No, well said.
What a ramble. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but it's legit.
Is this my camera?
and you're living it. So I think now that it's, we're just past Thanksgiving, let's keep the culture going and let's choose gratitude.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, let's dive into some turkey and sweet potato.
Yeah, right? The leftovers are definitely waiting for us upstairs.